Hey guys, it's Guido. Coffee Talk Supplemental. Now, it's time for the talk, fellas. We have it's time for the. This has sort of been a long time coming. And first of all, before we get into this whole thing, I want to thank you for the support of the channel, support of the stream. It's been a really interesting ride, especially the last year as we've grown and got bigger, and really the last 2 years as I've kind of figured out how all this thing goes. And it's the reason for the supplemental coffee talk. We're gonna have a little chat here with you guys with my coffee. Is just kind of show you how some of the sausage is made, some of the background information. I'm actually going to show you some of my numbers and how much I've made on this. And you know, I think that's probably taboo to a large extent for people, especially people who are making a lot of money doing it. I don't happen to be making a lot of money. Would I like to make a lot of money? Sure, everybody would love to make a lot of money, right? But this is more just a, hey, let's look at the journey and see where we've been. And in addition to that, just a little bit of news on what I'm going to do in the future and a few little changes to the channel based on getting slightly larger. And it's kind of one of those things where it just, as it happens, you've got to adjust fires and change what you're doing just a little bit. Not a huge big deal, and really for the majority of people, it's not going to change at all. But I wanted to be just like totally honest and transparent, and for why I'm making the decision that I'm about to make. Okay, and again, it's not a big deal, but you guys have been along for the journey. I've talked about the industry behind the industry, and I thought it was interesting. So maybe you will as well, and it will give you some background information on what I'm going to do here in the near future. But anyway. So I started about 2 years ago doing this, maybe 3 with videos, but really solidly 2 years ago. I've been at this about 2 years. And I'll show you the numbers, but I've made somewhere around $600 in 2 years. The last year has been primarily where any money has come in. This is between Twitch and YouTube. Now YouTube used to be a lot more lucrative before they changed their revenue plan, their ad sharing plan about a year ago, maybe now, or a little bit over that. And I had just made YouTube partner right when it changed, so I had the requirements, and then they changed the requirements and they dropped me, and then I came back. And so I'm big enough now for me to get some of the ad revenue sharing stuff. So as it's gone, it takes up, and I just did some basic numbers. I spend about 2 hours a day on this, to be quite honest. Some of it has to do with my company, 1212 Gaming. This whole thing was really tied into 1212 Gaming as I'm trying to learn the industry. And I've talked about that multiple times. So it's not just a factor necessarily of purely World of Tanks and supporting the channel, but the vast majority of that time goes to this. As kind of a investigation or an experiment, but also as me trying to see where it can go. So the last year has really been quite a bit. So 2 hours a day, 728 hours a year, roughly. So I looked at the numbers that I made on Twitch and the numbers I made on YouTube, and I did the calculations, and it came out to about 82 cents an hour payment. Now, there is nothing in the world that says I have to get paid for doing my hobby and helping you guys. That's not the point. And I hesitated to do this video. I've been thinking about it for months. But really, it's come to the point where I have to do something, either dial back a little bit the effort that I'm putting into it, or potentially try to grow it in the aspects of maybe making it a little more worth my time. And that's just being dead honest, you know what I'm saying? Because time is money, that's the thing we talk about. I've done this for a year and a half, 2 years. I've really delved into probably the maximum amount of hobbyist that you can do, and I'm not going anywhere, so don't lose your mind or get mad or whatever. Not that necessarily anyone would care if I quit doing that. You see where I'm getting with this? It's a hard thing. Self-promotion has never been my deal. And my deal has been if the content is compelling enough, they will come. And so here we are. We've got a decent amount of people. I get a lot of replays. I get a lot of people asking me, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And I love that. But it's really come to the point where I'm getting more than I can use, which is fantastic, but now I'm not interacting with everybody like I used to be able to, and that's been the crux of the problem. If I was to start interacting with everybody, the amount of stuff I'm getting, it would cost me several more hours a day, and then at 82 cents an hour, taking away from other things I'm doing in my life, we're at a tipping point. So there's a couple ways to do this. I either start ignoring some of the stuff, and when I say ignore, I don't mean like go away. I mean, all right, I just don't have time for that. I'll pick and choose the best stuff, and that's a good problem to have. But at the same time, because the channel's been built on such an interactive community, then I feel like I'm not able to do all the things that I'm able to do. Now, that's not going to change as long as the channel grows. That's just the way it is, and that's kind of one of the impetus, or one of the not requirements, but one of the reasons that I'm making this little video is just to discuss that, because it's cool. I think it's a phase thing, and any YouTuber or Twitch streamer or whatever content creator, whatever their format is going to eventually run into that. If they have success, they're going to get past a point where they can, no kidding, engage with every single person. So then you start talking about, all right, well, what are the things that will cause me to engage? And obviously making a little bit more money here and there would be it. Okay, so that becomes off sounding incredibly mercenary, and that's why I'm talking how the sausage is made and what's behind the scenes. If you look at the giant influencers, they don't do anything without getting paid. I'm not saying that's where I am, but that's that level right up here. I'm way, I don't know, I can't even see below the ground there, but that's kind of how the thing rolls. So here's what I'm going to do. First thing I want to do is just kind of show you the numbers, because I think they're interesting, and maybe some people would be interested in this. But this is, no kidding, my analytics for YouTube. And you can see right here, I started it from way back in 2012. I guess that's when I started my YouTube account, basically. Here's that little blurb where I made some money early on when their revenue system was a little easier. Then the cutoff right there, and then coming up, and that's where I started again this year, 2019, and then that's the revenue since then. So the total over my lifetime is $223.66. One interesting thing to me, which kind of blew my mind, this Caprice said it was good. I looked at the analytics for that, and I don't know why that particular video has $6.70, because it's not watched anymore. I need to dig into that, because I'm not really sure what's going on there. That one, for some reason, made twice as much, nearly, as the next one, which is very, very interesting. So there's more for me to learn. That's part of this whole system right here. So anyway, that's the YouTube stuff. And you look at the Twitch stuff. This is Twitch over, basically, this goes back pretty far to January 2018. I did a little bit of on and off streaming a long time ago, years ago. So there's a few of you who've kind of been around doing the paid sub thing, and I really wasn't performing. Basically, I was not doing it. People would sub and I wasn't doing it. But now I've done it quite a bit more, and you can see that the subs are coming up. And Twitch is actually, interestingly, more lucrative than YouTube, which is why you have people who stream and don't do YouTube. So if you look at some of the big streamers, and I've talked to some of the CCs and some of these other guys at these different meet and greets and things I've been able to do lately with wargaming and other things, is Twitch just plain old makes more money, which is why people are walking away from YouTube. For me, I'm not walking away from YouTube. I just find that format for the learning environment to be much better for this game. But as you can see right there, these are the numbers: 235 more followers, subs up 143, and revenue at 377.44 lifetime, roughly. So that's where I added that. Then I added the money from YouTube, and then I divided it by the number of hours that I put in a year. Realize that these are more than a year numbers, so it's going to end up looking a little better, really. It's probably less than 82 cents an hour once you consider it's been going on for 2 years at this point. And I understand, I got it. There's nothing that says Guido the Hobbyist YouTube guy should make thousands of dollars off of this. That's not my point at all. It's just kind of come to the point where here we are growing, getting bigger, and I'm not really able to interact as much as I would like to. And it's also a factor of I need to start to focus on where it is I want to go from there. So all that being said, we'll get rid of this second monitor stuff here. What I'm going to do is everything as far as the way it's been done is going to be the same. Just realize that I can't possibly get to every replay. That does not mean I don't want you guys to send me the replays, and I've mentioned that on multiple occasions, but we're really getting to where I'm getting quite a few, and I think that's really great, and I appreciate it. So please continue. I'm going to add one thing on top of that, though, and again, I've hesitated to do this for a long time, but let's just see where it goes, and maybe it doesn't matter and nobody takes me up on it, and that's fine too. I got it. It's a process, so I'm learning as we go. So essentially, if you want me to, no kidding, pay attention to your replay and give you an in-depth analysis, okay, then what I'm looking for is a donation to do that, and I will do 3. All right, I don't want to put a price tag on it necessarily, and $5, whatever, something like that. And then I will, no kidding, if you do that via my PayPal donation, let me know what your in-game name is, send me the replays, and I will absolutely make sure that I do those particular ones. And I may not necessarily do a video where it has to wait weeks to get into the queue. I will do that. I will send it to you on a unlisted link, so no kidding, it's done. So we're talking a couple day turnaround to knock those things out, and we'll see where that goes. If you want me to look at your replay, please send it anyway. There's no donation required, but whether it gets into the queue or not, that's going to be dependent on whether it's a replay I can use or how many other people stacked up. I mean, there's only one video a day, so at any moment I have like 15, 20 videos sitting in my uploaded to YouTube, and I'm deciding which one goes in where. And oftentimes it'll switch based on events and things that are going on. Obviously on Sunday we've got Coffee Talk. On Monday it's usually Miserable Monday, so that's 2 out of 7 of the 7 days of a week where I have a specific thing going on, and then I put the rest of you guys' videos in there or requests. So it was with a bit of hesitancy that I offered this to you guys. It's one of those things where if you want a piece of someone's time, often you've got to make it worth their while. And up until this point, the worth my while was getting this thing going, and that's still there. But if you really want me to, no kidding, do that particular video, and I'm talking about up to 3 replays there, then we'll do it via that system, and we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. Give me the feedback down there and let me know what you think of that, good or bad. I can definitely see people going, all right, that's BS, that kind of thing. But my promise to you is that I'm still going to do what I'm doing, and just because you didn't send a donation doesn't mean I'm necessarily not going to use your video. It's just, it'll be whether it's one I can use or not, to be quite honest. And now I will say that in the past, some people have donated, and I have already prioritized several of those people's videos in the past precisely because of that. But I did that without it being kind of an official upfront thing to you guys. So this is just more codifying, I guess, how the process is going to work, at least for me. If you think that what I'm telling you is worth it, then it'll happen. If 6 months down the road nobody's taking me up on it, then okay, I got it. I noted. Yeah. But I wanted to put that out there. Now the dog's come in, and now she's shaking. Wanted to put that out there because I think it's just part of the process moving on, with the channel as it gets bigger. And I'm kind of curious as to whether that's worth it to anybody. I'll be straight up. I don't know. I sort of think it might be to some people, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Now, I think it has been in the past because I have received donations along the way on occasion, and I didn't talk about those in my income. I'm just going to leave that off the side because some of that is tied to who's supporting and who's not. But there is another chunk of money. So if you added that, it's probably more like $1 an hour, to be quite honest and upfront with you. It's not a whole lot of money, but it's significant. And really what I do with this is I support the channel. You see that I give away stuff on occasion with my own money. That's where this money comes from, to help grow the channel and to throw back to the community and all that stuff. I use it to upgrade my computer, to keep it current so I can play the games, to buy the peripherals and all that kind of thing. So that's what I do with it. So that, a little peek behind the curtain right there for you guys to see what goes on with running a YouTube channel of a, albeit small size, but getting a little bit larger. There is a time investment, there is a requirement. It does take away from whatever else it is I'm doing in my life. I do enjoy it, but now I'm kind of curious. All right, where can it go? Is it something that's going to go on, or really are we at a maintenance level and we're just going to kind of cruise along? And if we are at a maintenance level, then I have to make decisions in my life and what I'm doing with my time that are appropriate. Does that make sense to everybody? I hope it does. Like I said, nothing's really going to change as far as I'm going to keep kicking out a video for you guys every day. I really enjoy this. I do enjoy interacting. I like streaming. As a matter of fact, I have a stream that I'm late for right now because I'm doing this video. So we'll get to that in just a moment as well. I appreciate your time, and I am actually very curious what your thoughts are. So throw them down there in the comments and let me know. Let me know what you think of that. I'm I figure it's probably going to run the gamut, but that's all right. That's all right. That's the thing we pride ourselves here with this community, is that we can say our piece. We can say it without being toxic or angry about it, and discuss it. So that's fantastic. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you listening to my long rambling explanation of why it is I am needing a little more for my time on occasion. All right, guys, later. We'll see you.